What's going on, guys? Alex here with 814 EDC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on the Kizer Knives Mini Militaw. This, of course, is in via the Lefty passaround group. It is part of the Militaw package, so you have the premium Mini Militaw as well as the fixed blade Militaw. You guys will probably see the fixed blade Militaw review the day after this one. So you guys will see this. I'm filming this on Tuesday. You'll see this on Tuesday. You'll see that one on Wednesday. And then we'll see how the rest of the week falls with reviews. But yeah, guys, this thing is absolutely fantastic. I had the full-size original Militaw in earlier in the year, I want to say, maybe springtime, give or take, around there. And I remember liking it. I remember it being a positive review. I'm going to look back here and see what I got on my review list. Okay, so I had the Militaw in April, and it got a 34. It is currently the Militaw is the highest rated Kizer that I've done so far this year in my ranking system, and I don't know if this can challenge for perfection, but this is going to be right there with it. I like this model better than the original Militaw just because it fits in the hand so much better. I like the mini size of it. It just feels great. Kizer has really been killing it recently, and I have really enjoyed my time with it. And so, so much I've even pushed my review back a few days. That way I can enjoy the knife more before I have to send it back or off to the next person. But yeah, without further ado, we're going to jump right into this review. I am going to leave a link to not just this Mini Militaw, but the entire Mini Militaw selection on White Mountain Knives. So of course you can use someone's code like Lefty10, get you 10% off your purchase. But I will leave a link to that in the channel description down below. Definitely go check it out if you guys are interested in this model. But we're going to jump right into materials. So when it comes to the Mini Militaw, there are two different versions, or excuse me, there's two different, there's the high-end models and there's the lower-end budget models. This specific one right here is, of course, a higher-end model. You guys can see it is rocking titanium scales with this beautiful jungle wear camo carbon or fat carbon on both sides. It, of course, has a milled titanium pot clip. It is not reversible. It is righty only, but it's a very functional, very clean clip. You have a frame lock right there. You have a front flipper as well as a hole for deployment. You have a drop point blade. Of course, this is a Jonathan Styles design, and this is in S45 VN Kizer. It's in like a dark acid stonewash, and it has been used a little bit from the pass-around group. But as far as internal milling, there are a few pockets on the show scale side and looks like one or two on the frame lock side, but it's a mini knife. It's very lightweight. Some quick specs for you guys. So overall length from tip to butt, you're looking at 6.7 inches, a blade length of 2.82 inches, a blade thickness of 0.10 inches. Doesn't have a weight. I don't know why Blade HQ is not listing a weight. But I would have to imagine it's less than 3 ounces. It's very lightweight, very comfortable in hand. And yeah, I mean, this is a nice looking model. I don't have too much, experience specifically with jungle wear fat carbon, but it's really good. I like the way it looks. So as far as materials are going, you guys can already pretty much guess. 5 out of 5 on that front. Before we move on, there are, like I said, a lot of different variations of this. Unfortunately, all four of the premium models of the Mini Militaw on White Mountain Knives are sold out, but it looks like all of the budget models are currently in stock. But when you're looking at the premium models, you have the titanium and jungle wear version. You have a like a burnt bronze titanium with a zirconium inlay with a blacked out S45 VN. You have a dark stonewash, looks like titanium with a very interesting carbon fiber with some lines going through it with some, looks like artwork almost, with an S45 VN stonewash blade. And then you have a fully blacked out version with M390 and a 80s camo carbon on the inlay, which is pretty cool. The 80s camo carbon and this one are my two favorite. And then when it comes to the budget, you have 6 of them. You have a black G10 micarta handle with black Nitro V. Excuse me. You have a gray or black G10 with a Mokutai inlay with stonewash or satin Nitro V. You have an Ultim handle with a like red and black G-Mascus inlay with a black Nitro V. You have a black G10 with like a clear Ultim acrylic handle with a stonewash or satin Nitro V blade. You have a red G10 handle with a like rainbow colored inlay, I believe of G10 as well, with a black Nitro V. And then you have a black and green G10 inlay, excuse me, with either satin or stonewash Nitro V. So lots of different variations, lots of different versions. If you know, there has to be, something out there for you guys. If, you want premium, if you want budget, there's a lot of different, pieces to this cake, and I applaud them for making so many, because I really think that the Militaw and the Mini Militaw has risen to become one of Kizer's best-selling models. That's super popular, and I think it'll continue to be popular as it moves forward. But speaking of moving forward, we are going to move on to aesthetic. Kind of rambled on there for a little bit, but I think this knife looks awesome. I mean, I think I gave it a 5 out of 5 with the full-size Militaw, and I'm going to continue that theme right here. I just think it looks good. It's just such a simple but yet clean and elegant design. I mean, you have pretty much parallel, besides the finger groove down here, you have parallel, lines right here, a nice rounded off. I love that this isn't squared off. It's just nice and rounded. Down here, I love just the clean drop point style blade. The pocket clip works very well. Just overall, it's a very clean design, very simple lines, but I mean, it just looks really, really good. So we're gonna go 5 out of 5. Next up is the action. And one of the first things that I noticed with the Mini Militaw is how good the D10 is. It's very, very snappy, very good, especially for such a small knife. You get really, really good action out of it. You can thumb flick it out, works phenomenal. Works very, very good. Reverse flick is absolute money. I mean, it just bangs out. Super reliable every time. One of the better middle finger flicks I felt in a while, just from finger placement and hole placement. I mean, it just fires out of there. And then, of course, you have the front flipper, which is nice and has jumping up and around, which I love to see. You just land right on the tip there, kind of pops it right over your thumb. Also, a very snappy. You guys can hear, which we'll touch on next, is the acoustics. You guys can hear it's firing out of there, thundering out of there, very good. Do a lefty. Now, when it comes to drop, frame lock, drops to your nail. One shake and you're closed. Drops are open. Drops to your nail. Few micro shakes and you're closed. Action is very, very good. No blade play whatsoever. I don't think there's any aftermarket skiffs in here. I could be wrong though, because usually Kevin puts skiffs in pretty much everything. But the action is phenomenal. It really is one of the best feeling Kizers I've had in quite some time, and that goes to say a lot of things, I think, because Kizer has really stepped up their game, and they really produce a very, you don't really have, you really don't have too many highs or too many lows with Kizer. You just have like consistent, relatively, I mean, on the higher end of good, if not great, action, fit and finish, all the things from them, and they are just uber consistent. That's a really good testament to them as a company and to them as an OEM. It's just the consistency is there, and I mean, they killed it with the action on the Mini Militaw. All the budget versions are liner locks, so I am intrigued to see how that feels. I think when I get rid of this one, I'm really going to miss it. So I might pull the trigger and spring for, a budget version just to have, because I mean, it really is arguably my favorite Kizer of all time. And that's saying a lot because I've enjoyed quite a few Kizers in my day. But we'll go 5 out of 5 on the action. Next up is the acoustics. So close to being perfect, guys. If there was more cutouts on the inside for weight reduction, I think that would help the reverberating of the sound so much. You just don't get those high pitchedness, but man, you get thundering out on the flicks, on the front flip. I mean, this is very satisfying to listen to. And I mean, it's better than, you know, good. It's great. So for that, we're gonna go 4.5. I really do enjoy it that much. It just has a nice consistency. That's a big thing with Kizer. Just has a nice consistent, you know, noise to it. It's satisfying to do over and over again. And all it's missing is just that high pitched tings and rings and all those things. But we'll go 4.5 on the acoustics. Next up is ergos. Of course, it is a smaller knife. It's under 7 inches overall. But choked back, I can still get all 4 fingers on this knife. And to me, that was another thing that stood out to me is, yes, it's a mini knife, but I can still get all of my phalanges on here. Very, very comfortable. You do have some jimping from the front flipper back here if you want to land back here in a saber grip. But my thumb in this, you know, grip normally lands out here past the hole on the blade. It's very, very comfortable. The pot clip is nice and sort of flat, has rounded off edges, you know, not causing a hot spot in the slightest. Feels very, very good in the hand. Just kind of sits right there in like the first knuckle crevice. Can't feel it whatsoever. Really like the, you know, finger groove right here. Nice natural restriction point. And this thing is, I mean, very, very comfortable. And then, of course, you can use this landing choil up here. Your hand slides up, your middle finger goes where your pointer finger was, right in that nice natural restriction point. Your pointer finger wraps around the choil, and your thumb kind of lands generally in the same area, maybe a little bit farther out, you know, for push cuts. You can get some really good control on this, but just very, very comfortable. I mean, this thing is just locked into my hand. It's so good, so well done. All the titanium is nicely finished. There's no sharp edges on this knife whatsoever. S45 VN, I don't have a ton of experience with it. I just think of it as an upgraded S30V or an upgraded S35 VN. It's in that category, but it's a very good steel from my understanding. A lot of companies are using it on different things, and Kizer has started using it on some of their premium models. So it's, you know, nice, thin, slicey blade shape. Overall, I mean, the ergos are very, very good, very comfortable for being a small knife. So we're going to get back in the 5 category and go 5 out of 5. Next up on the list is carry. Guys, you guys can already pretty much, I mean, guess what this is going to be for carry, but small knife, you do get a beautiful milled titanium pot clip that goes pretty deep into the pocket. You have about that much showing out of the pocket. But honestly, I kind of enjoy it because I love how, you know, one thing on the aesthetic of this knife is how parallel the back end is. So that doesn't bother me in the slightest if that much is sticking up out of your pocket. On the budget version, there is a loop over style deep carry clip, so it'll carry really deep. But I like the milled clip on here. It just functions well. It looks good. Sits down in your pocket. You have no flipper tab, no jimping, anything of that sort over here to possibly risk, you know, catching your hand on as you're going down below the knife to get change, chapstick, something that might be floating, you know, below it, which is really nice. This thing pretty much, you know, I always like to show this, but I mean, it can almost disappear into my fist. So this is a small knife. I've carried this in khakis or my bird dogs. I've carried this in gym shorts. I've carried this in sweatpants. You know, this has been in my pocket so much since I've had it in for review. And I can say confidently that this is a very, very good knife to carry. Very comfortable, very lightweight, just slim, you know, unobtrusive, you know, profile. So we're gonna give it a 5 out of 5. No complaints whatsoever. Just nice, small, slim. You know, compact is another good term for it. We'll leave it at that. But I think a 5 out of 5 is very much warranted. I would take it maybe a little bit away for not having a reversible clip, but it is a frame lock. If it was a liner lock, I would maybe see, but it's a frame lock, so I can let that slide. But lastly, that brings me to my final category of price point / value / what I recommend this knife. Guys, I can't recommend this knife enough. Like I said, I think when I get rid of this knife and send it off to the next person in the pass round, I'm going to miss it. So I might even order it tonight just because I'm going to get sad thinking about it. But I might have to go order one of the budget versions. I like the green G10 in micarta. And I also like the black G10 in kind of acrylic looking one. I can't recommend enough. Again, I think the Militaw platform is one of, you know, whether it's the fixed blade, which we'll touch on in the next video, whether it's the mini Militaw or the full size Militaw. I just think the Militaw platform has really blossomed into one of Kizer's better better selling models. They've come out with a ton of different versions of the full-size Militaw. It started as 1 or 2 versions, and it went to the purple haze fat carbon with like the black kind of polished DLC S45 yen blade. And just recently with the Mini Militaw release, they came out with a lot of other full-size budget versions of the Militaw. So there's just a lot of different versions out there. Again, one for everybody. And I just think they are going to continue to utilize it and see that people like it and enjoy it and go from there. So I can't recommend it enough. It doesn't happen too often to where I get stuff in for review that I have to go buy it immediately. So this is definitely kind of a rare breed that I'm going to want to go purchase one of these, in the coming days, coming weeks after I get rid of it, just because it's that good. But I think it's a good value coming in at a price point of $153. Of course, you can get, cheaper than that. You can probably save 10 to 15 bucks if you use someone's code. But we'll say 150 for titanium frame lock, beautiful jungle wear, fat carbon on both sides, milled clip, great action, great fit and finish, great ergos, great carry, like all those things. I mean, I think it's a good value. I would honestly, shy away from spending $200 on this. So the fact that you can get it for less than $150 with a code, I mean, I think that's awesome. The budget versions fall, $55 to $63. I don't know why the Ultimate version is $63. The rest of them are $54. So $60 and $50 basically for other good materials for budget. I just can't recommend enough. I think it's a great value. I think it's a great platform. I think it's a great knife. So we're going to go 5 out of 5. And I don't even have to add that up to know that this is getting a 34.5, which is landing it in my fantastic category. 0.5 points away from being perfect. And that is simply because I want some high-pitched, tangs going on. And that just sadly doesn't have it. But it did beat the original Militaw by 0.5. So that just goes to show how much I enjoy this model, how much I think you guys should check this model out. Don't sleep on it. It's really, really good. And, I'm like I said, I'm gonna have to buy one, I think, for the collection. So, but drop a comment down below. Did any of you guys pick up one of the new Mini Militaws from the most recent, droppings of them within the last month or so? Did you get the budget version? Did you get any of the premium versions? Let me know what your experiences are with them, because as always, I want to hear what you guys have to say. I want to hear what you guys think about these models. And so on and so forth. But that was my full review of the Kizer Knives Mini Militaw. Huge shout out to Kevin over at Lefty DC for allowing us to check out, all the dope stuff, all the cool things. Keeps the channels going, especially mine. And I appreciate you guys as well. But I'm going to wrap this up now. So thank you guys again so much for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, evening, day, night, whenever you're watching this. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.